What's up, Cougar family? Coming to you from beautiful Pullman, Washington. We're excited to bring you another episode of Coug on the Clock. I'm Vaughn Drewien.
And I'm Derek Joseph. It's an exciting time for Wazoo sports fans right now, and we're going to discuss one of the best stories going on. The WSU women's soccer team is playoff bound once again, hoping to reach their second College Cup appearance in 3 years.
And elsewhere on campus, we got both women's and men's basketball opening their seasons with strong expectations to compete. So we'll take a look at how they can shake things up in the Pac-12 heading into this new campaign.
We're also going to talk about MLB Free Agency and the excitement surrounding this crop of premier starters and world-class shortstops. However, with the previous CBA set to expire in December, a league-wide work stoppage appears inevitable. So we'll dive into what that means for the market and the game as a whole.
All right, sounds good. Let's get to it.
All right, our first topic today is WSU women's soccer getting into the Ncaa tournament once again.
As it should be.
And so this team is coming off an incredible win this time around. They just came off the Apple Cup, and they scored the most goals in Apple Cup history with 4 in this game, in their victory 4-2. And they just had an overall great game. And
yeah, I think it was really representative of their season as a whole. And to finish it off strong, whooping on UW like that, that was a beautiful sight. And with 13-2-4 record, ended up third in the Pac-12. They're looking really good going into the playoffs here.
Yeah, you have Elise Bennett who's the leader in goals. She's got 10 goals this year, and she's just been rock solid all year for the Cougs. And then you also have Grayson Lynch, who has 7 goals right behind her. So you got just a really good crop of goal scorers on this team. And even with a few players that missing from last year's team, they're still doing just as good to start this season as they did last year.
Yeah, I mean, we have some good playmakers, and a lot of the fifth-year seniors are holding it down as well for us. But, of course, the bread and butter of this team is their defense, and some of the defensive stars are getting into the action as well. I want to highlight Sydney Pulver, who's the midfielder, led the team in shooting percentage and led the way with 3 game-winning goals. And, of course, senior defender Micaiah Maness, she anchored that D all year long. Was the most consistent presence on that team, played almost every minute of the season. And then, of course, that freshman sensation goalie, Nadia Cooper, she was terrific. She took that starting spot late in the season, late in September, and she ended up 12th in the nation in goals allowed.
Nadia Cooper taking over as the starting goalie as a freshman for a team that has some big expectations with their recent success.
Yeah.
The way she stepped into that role as goalie, it's been nothing short of just super impressive. And it's been really exciting to watch for this team, and I'm really excited for this game coming up on Saturday against who are they playing? Is it Montana? Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it's looking good against Montana. You never know what can happen, but the way these ladies are playing right now, you got to feel good about their chances. The last matchup they had with the Grizzlies, they won it 6-0 in 2019. Last playoff matchup with Montana, 5-1 in 2018. Both of those at the same place. They're going down on Saturday at the lower soccer field here in Pullman.
Yeah, be there for that game because it's going to be a really good one, and it's going to be really fun to watch for them.
Yeah.
All right, I think that'll bring us to our next topic now. The WSU women's basketball team opening up their season this year, and this was a really fun game to watch. I actually got to be on the radio and call this game, but the funnest part about this game was that they raised their tournament banner before pregame, and so they were able to celebrate that a little bit, and that was really cool to watch. And then the 2 players I really wanted to highlight for this game were Bella Murrow and Charlize Ledger-Walker, who both had 22 points apiece. And Charlize Ledger-Walker's was a little bit quiet too, getting that 22 points, because Bella Murrow was going off at the end of the first half, and she was just dominating the San Jose State this whole game.
Yeah, I mean, Ledger-Walker was filling up the stat sheet as she does so well. And then Murrow is going to always fill up the stats on the post with boards and blocks, and she was doing that once again. That's always going to happen with the difference between them two is the way they score, but they're both just absolute playmakers, and they highlight a really successful lineup for the Cougs that they're going to be able to show a little more what they can do down the line, and I think it's really exciting. I want to point out head coach Cami Etheridge coming back for her 4th year at the helm. I think she's part of the reason that they have such high, lofty expectations. I think she's a really just tremendous coach, and if anyone can lead them to the promised land once again, it's going to be her.
Yeah, Cami Etheridge is a no-nonsense coach. I listened during the press conference after this game. She was just somebody asked her about the raising of the playoff banner, and she just went like, you know what, that's a great way to end that era and get into this era of basketball for the Cougars.
That's tough.
And it was really cool to see that that's the attitude that she's bringing upon her team, and
she's not complacent.
Yeah,
not at all.
Yeah, she's not complacent at all. She just wants this team to be really successful. And you said get more success down the line. The Cougs won by 30 points even without one of their best players, Johanna Tedder, who was away playing in the FIBA World Cup for Estonia. So we're without one of our best players, and we're still winning by as much as we are. So
right.
that was really cool to watch, and these girls are going to be really fun to watch throughout this year.
Yeah, watching them gel and come together as a team more is going to be fun. Ula Motuga from Australia is going to be a big part of that, and Shir Levy from Israel, as well as Akin Salikdemir from Turkey. I'm looking at them to have some real good bounce-back seasons and contribute even more on the court this year. And altogether, especially with the freshman guard, Tara Wallach, it's going to be a good year for the Cougs.
All right, and that bell means it's time for our next topic. So we're going to go to the men's team, who also opened up their season on Tuesday. And this game was really good, too. They started out a little slow in this game, oddly enough.
Right. A little sloppy.
Yeah, it was a little sloppy, but you know what? It was their first game scenario, and you got a few new guys on the team, and that's going to happen sometimes. They still ended up winning by 18 points in this game over Alcorn State.
Yeah.
So what did you think of what the Cougs were able to do in this game?
I mean, I think you're totally right on the new guys coming in, talking about gelling. I mean, they're really going to need to do that over the next 5 games, and a lot of their success and their higher expectations this year is going to pertain a lot to that, to see how these guys play together, because most of them haven't played that much. We've had some injuries in the preseason, a couple guys missing practice time, and so we'll see it all come together in these next weeks. But I think especially the new additions, Tyrell Roberts, who led all scorers with 16 on 50% from the field in that game, as well as the senior Michael Flowers, who was a 9, 11, and 6. And forced a couple turnovers.
Yeah,
he looks really good.
Yeah, he got 11 rebounds as a guard. That was really impressive, and he led the team in that. And one other newcomer that I wanted to highlight in this one was Muhammad Gay. And so he didn't really do too much in this game, but this kid is amazing. He is an incredible athlete, and he's super tall, and he moves around the court like a guard, and it's really fun to watch. And I've been really looking forward to seeing this guy. He did a crazy between the legs dunk in the showcase that they had a few weeks back for the basketball team. So that was really cool to watch. And then another guy who, one of our returners, is F.A. Abagidi. That guy, there isn't much that needs to be said about him. He's a pretty similar player to Muhammad Gay too. So those guys are going to be really worth the watch, and we're going to have a fun year with both of our basketball teams this year, the men and the women.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Abagidi is going to be. I mean, he was a freshman last year, and he was a game changer. He was among the conference leaders in blocks and rebounds, and there's only room to improve for him. And then, of course, Noah Williams, prior to Seattle. I mean, he's already a well-known name on campus. He didn't start off that hot for him, but he's always going to be a potential threat to go for 25, 30, even 40. He can do it.
this team is going to be fun, and I really do see a possible tournament appearance in their near future, and that would be just incredible to get both of those teams into that tournament.
That'd be so awesome. I'm looking at an NIT bid this year for sure, and an outside shot at March Madness. I think if everything goes to plan with Kyle Smith at the helm, it can definitely happen.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
All right, let's get into our next topic here.
Yeah, so now we're hitting the professional ranks. We're going to talk a little bit about MLB Free Agency. We got a pretty good crop of players this year, more than average as far as the skill level goes and the age mixed in with it. We got younger guys who are on a superstar level that are looking to get paid like it. So it'll be a pretty crazy offseason for a couple reasons. Another we'll get into, but I just want to talk to you a little bit about, how you see things shaking out this year with a couple of the bigger names.
Yeah.
And where you think they might go.
Yeah, so Carlos Correa, he's going to be really interesting to look at because with him, it's kind of like the same thing you had with George Springer in this offseason. Wherever he goes, he's going to bring the booze with him because what happened in the 2017 playoffs is still unforgiven as far as in the fans' eyes. So that's going to be really interesting. It's going to take a lot of guts for a team to sign a player like him.
Yeah, for real.
And then a guy like Chris Bryant, I'm really interested to see if he ends up on my beloved Mariners because we are empty at the third base position right now. And and we're looking, and they're really looking for a guy that can be that caliber of player and sign, and that they can sign after Mariners GM Jerry DiPoto was just given the green light by ownership to be aggressive this free agency.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think there's not a lot of teams that are that have that green light, especially with the CBA going on. But the Mariners are in a good position to spend. And personally, I would love to see them get all these guys. But I have them coming in on a few of the top names. Chris Bryant is one of them. I got him for 7 years, 165. I think that he would slide in perfectly in that third base position. We get another long-term star guy that's got some name quality to him. And then I also have Marcus Stroman going there for 5 years. I think that's very possible. I think they need a top-line starter. And the other top-line starters, I got Robbie Ray. I think he's re-signing with the Blue Jays. I just think that makes too much sense. And the kind of cream of the crop, Kevin Gausman, I got him going to the Angels. Not a lot of people see that, but they have money to spend. They obviously need a starter. Yeah. And I could see that going down.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting to see. And I think one of the more obvious ones, but I still want to just point it out, is that I think Freddie Freeman stays in his city of Atlanta. That city's his, and I cannot see him playing anywhere else, and it would just be weird to see him in any other uniform.
It would be so weird. I'm really glad that they have that relationship. They've already talked about wanting to make something work. Just seeing him on the free agent list is kind of weird, but I think that's a natural fit. Max Scherzer back to the Dodgers seems like a natural fit to me as well. And Carlos Correa bringing the Boo Birds to Yankee Stadium.
Wow.
For 10 years, $300 million plus. I think they're just going to have to deal with him.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you can't have MLB free agency without a new MLB CBA, and that is what our next topic is, which that is set to expire coming December 1st here.
Yeah. This is the sexy talk of the offseason, the collective bargaining agreement. So from 1972 to 84, at the beginning of the CBAs, there was 8 stoppages that occurred, lockouts and strikes. Until 94, sorry. Since August 94, there hasn't been anything. We've always had an agreement before the expiration. So this is a little bit unprecedented. So there's a lot of not a lot of people know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
There's a lot of skepticism that's revolving around all this, as far as who has the upper hand and what they can actually get out of it.
Yeah, one thing that I think is going to be really interesting that comes out of this is that they're talking about a universal DH coming into baseball. And I've always thought that baseball should go to one or the other when it comes to universal DHs or pitchers batting. Yeah. And I would be okay with either one that happens, but like obviously I'm an American League fan, so I know the American League game a lot better. So I think that it would fit pretty well because pitchers are not that good of athletes and they're not really good hitters. So So it's one of those things I'd like to see the pitcher just being a pitcher,
Yeah,
unless
for sure.
they're like Shohei Ohtani, where obviously you want a guy like that in your lineup, so
Right.
you could still have that option.
Right. I mean, the only argument against it at this point are those few outliers that can hit. Tony Cingrani on the Reds, I think, and Madison Bumgarner. Pretty much it, other than Shohei, obviously. But, I mean, outside of that, they're hitting like 120, and that's like on an up year out of the pitcher's spot. I think baseball wants to have a lot more offense, a lot more excitement, a lot more revenue coming in, and people want to watch games where people are hitting dingers, and DHs hit dingers. Pitchers don't, so I think that's just good for everybody. I think that is top of the line for what needs to get done. I think we'll see that next year, honestly.
Yeah, and so also just speaking of revenue, you can't really get revenue without like some off-season stories happening, and like obviously this is going to put a delay on free agency, and it's going to be hard for the league to generate some popularity coming into this off-season because you're not going to get some immediate signings of some of the big names that we were just talking about in our last topic here.
Yeah, I mean that's what you want to see, big names switching teams. I think that goes into the competitive balance as well. They want other teams to get into the mix, not have the same teams every year, and that's also has a lot to do with what they're trying to argue for the players. Part of that is getting a salary minimum and the end of the time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen with that.
I'm kind of scared, man. I want them to just figure it out, and I want the Mariners to go sign a bunch of real good dudes and compete next year. That's just me.
Yeah, here's to hoping that they are able to get a deal done and just get baseball rolling again.
For real, as quick as possible. So, I guess that's it for us. Thanks again for watching Coug on the Clock. Go ahead, follow us on Instagram. That's at unorthodox.sports, as well as on Twitter, Wazoo, WAZZU, Unorthodox.
All right, I'm Derek Joseph.
And I'm Vaughn Drewien.
Thanks for watching.
Go Cougs, baby.